These are phenomenal. They look cool. They have other versions that look cooler, but what I learned real quick is I'm not a shaky camera guy, but I learned that when you're wearing these, you can't nod your head and say yes.
Because we move our head a lot.
And you got to keep your head still.
We do.
That's right. And you got to use your head. You got to realize your head's the camera. Great for undercover. Great microphone. They're really phenomenal. Pivothead.com. Mitch, Planet5D.com. What's new with Planet 5D? Let's talk about that first.
Let's see. We have a brand new forum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm excited about that.
The Cinema 5D decided that it was time to get out of the forum business and to do news and reviews. So we're now managing all of that.
And they had done a nice job, so it's nice that you took it over and you're doing that. I know you're keeping busy.
It's nothing, you know.
This is Daphne Schmone.
12 hours a day.
Daphne's an amazing filmmaker. She's won all these awards for Children of the Wind, her newest documentary, childrenofthewindthemovie.com, and she's our producer here. She's our producer here. She's phenomenal, and she's been doing a great job. I want to thank her. She's going to be reading viewer questions in a few moments. They've been tweeting in, and they've been sending them in via email to mike@artsistmedia.com, and also at ArtsistMedia. And we're going to get them prizes as well, Black Rapid camera straps. They make the great camera straps. You know about Black Rapid straps?
I have one in my bag.
You do?
I do.
Was that a gift from last year, this year?
No. I bought it of my own money.
Wow. Well,
it is shocking.
We'll have to hook you up with a new one. That's how good you thought it was. You bought it with your own money. Because you get a lot of freebies like me.
Oh, I get...
Well, this year you don't have to buy one.
I'm rolling in freebies.
Yeah.
But you bought this. You spent money on it.
I spent money on it.
Why?
Because I have trouble with the old-fashioned strap, and I really like to be able to just whip the camera up and shoot stills. You know, you can still do it with video, but...
No, you can. You sling your arm in there and it stabilizes a little. Yeah. You put your arm in. It's really cool. The strap is phenomenal. Great story. The inventor, Ron Henry, has become a good friend. He invented the strap and borrowed $5,000 from a friend and took that loan and never asked for another dollar and has built the company into a multi-million-dollar company. They won the Inc. 500 last year, and it's really innovative. It takes the stress off your neck and off your back, keeps the strap out of your way, and allows you to wear the camera like a messenger bag and just sling it up like you said,
awesome.
Take pictures.
We should demonstrate the strap on the show.
We are going to. I promise that tomorrow because we have Black Rapid coming on during the wrap-up show, the recap show here, so we'll demonstrate tomorrow.
Excellent.
Sound good?
Sounds great.
All right, we have a lot of business to get to.
Yes.
And then we're going to get to viewer questions and what Daphne thought was amazing here today. So we're going to put her on the spot. Mitch, you and I go head-to-head right here. We've got Blackmagic announced some new things. Here's my question. Is it Blackmagic or is it for real? They talk about a $1,000 pocket BMCC Blackmagic cinema camera. It's like a Micro Four Thirds sensor, and it's going to shoot RAW, they're saying, or not saying. We don't really know. Let's start with that.
Right.
It looks like a Sony NEX or a point and shoot that doesn't really thrill me.
Okay, true confession, I haven't been over there to see it yet.
Okay.
So I haven't actually physically seen it. I've only heard people
What do you think of the idea then?
Anything smaller is good for some consumers. I have big hands, so I hate small cameras.
So here's my deal. I think anything smaller is good. I like the GH3, the footprint, the size. I like the GH2 before. I thought it shot well. The BMCC, I just did a full tech review on. We actually can roll some footage of it, I think. We'll roll this tech review at some point, but we can roll some footage from it. It's a big camera. It's awkward. It's heavy. And you have to, if you shoot in video mode, it doesn't really look great. It shoots to ProRes. You can shoot RAW, which is an enormous nightmare of a workflow. If you shoot on the flat, the film look, you got to color correct every shot.
Right.
You have to.
Right.
So it adds to the workflow. It's an enormous pain in the butt for me. Number two, now you add that to a smaller camera. Again, it just becomes an enormous workflow. Then, the thing I didn't like about it was everything's touchscreen. Everything's operated through a touchscreen.
Right.
Now I'm going to put that on a smaller camera. And then I just really don't like Blackmagic products. Some of them are okay, but the reality is they don't really function well. They don't really work. And they just announced a 4K camera today on the heels of, they haven't even really started shipping the BMCC, which is a 2.5K camera.
Some people would debate that. I mean, they have been shipping since December. And
go get one.
You can find them.
A little bit. Obviously, I did a test on one. Maybe we could roll some of that footage from the BMCC review, and if not, we're going to play the review later in the week. So anyway, let's say you can get
awkward too.
The controls were terribly awkward because you got to go through ISO. You got to go through 2 menus or 3 menus, touching the screen to get through, and you're smudging the screen, and the screen has a terrible viewing angle. I don't like the BMCC.
Really?
No.
I couldn't tell that from your definition there.
But honestly, if you work it right, you can get a good picture quality, really good. And the dynamic range is phenomenal.
That's the key, right? For all cameras, like the digital Bolex, we want to see some video out of that. That's the key.
So we're going to want to see video off this $1,000 little pocket camera.
Right.
My buddy Adam bought 4 of them. I swear to you, he pre-ordered 4 from B&H today. And I think he made a mistake.
That's disappointing because I don't even have a link online yet that says how to order, and I've missed out on 4 sales.
Because you got to go to planet5d.com to get all your stuff. Here's the thing, is that the reality is all these people get hyped at NAB, they hype all these other people, and everybody, I saw this last year, everybody got so hyped on their announcements, and then nothing. Right? You took forever to get the camera, and then it's okay. It can shoot great, but it's an enormous amount of work. Do you like color correcting?
I'm not a color correcting. I have not taken the time to learn that. It's an art.
It is an art.
It does give you flexibility. You know, I've learned in shooting that you'll have an image, but when it's raw, more flat to the eye.
Enough out of you.
No, but it does. I mean, color correcting is tedious, but it does give you flexibility as opposed to having an image coming out of the camera already crushed.
You can only be here if you agree with me. No, I'm just kidding. You bring up a good point.
I agree that it's a hard work. It's hard work.
You bring up a great point.
But that's, you know,
so
it gives you flexibility.
You bring up a good point. I'm only teasing you. Would you want to work with this camera? You haven't played with it.
It depends on the job. It depends on the job. But when we were color correcting my documentary, and we had shot, we shot on the Panasonic Vericam, but our footage was very flat, and the color corrector was so happy. He said, okay, we can do a lot with this. We can really make it however you want it to be. But it's an extra step for people who are just doing videos. They don't want to take that extra step.
I just see it as more time, more money, more aggravation, and well, I mean, if you mess up, you can deal with it. That's the one good thing.
Yeah.
But so you like it overall. If you were going to shoot Children in the Wind again, you would look at the BMCC, or you would look at something that allows you to really color correct more.
I did. For example, we shot on the Sony FS700. It again came out. You had to color correct it. But I like what you can do with color. I'm a big believer in color being crucial to film. But if that's a step that you want to pass by, there are cameras who come out with great color to begin with. So it's just a matter of what kind of control do you want to have.
If you're going to be shooting movies, most people that are going to shoot a movie, or even a short, they're going to want to tweak the color. They want the story to come out the way they vision it.
Right.
If you're shooting a commercial, you're shooting a head talking piece, you maybe don't want to spend that extra time doing that color.
I mean, I guess that's the thing. I come from a video journalism background.
Right.
I do shoot
fast
commercials.
turnaround.
Fast turnaround. I do shoot commercials and stuff, and
these
music videos.
DSLRs come out. I mean, there's so many great color. So.
But that's the thing. I was sitting there comparing the Blackmagic to the 6D we were shooting the behind-the-scenes footage with, and the Blackmagic color corrected didn't look that much better than the 6D uncolor corrected. And I said, as long as you shoot it right, like, what are we doing? What do we do all this extra work? What do we spend an extra day color correcting for this footage that looks terrific to start with if you light it right, if you shoot it right, if you know what you're doing? And, you know, did we pull out a little bit more detail? Yeah. But especially in the interviews, we didn't have makeup on these people. It's not detail we wanted. They're going to be horrified. You have to use makeup for everybody. Like regular interviews now have to have makeup for this.
And the Blackmagic is very sharp, isn't it?
Right.
It's very crisp.
It's harsh.
Right.
Is what I would say. It's harsh. It's like old school. We're going backwards now, and we're not hiding anything. Joan Rivers would hate it. You know, I mean, it's just. I mean, thank God Barbara Walters is retiring, because this would just rip her apart. I mean, the detail in this was enormous, but it does have more detail. But I was like, do I really need that at the end of the day?
That's the thing. It's all about your purpose, your end purpose.
That's right.
So you would like it.
That's right.
Well, we'll see. I'm not a color corrector, so for my personal projects that need a fast turnaround, probably not.
But for you, for your non-personal projects, you can pass it off to somebody else anyway.
Yes.
So I guess if you can pass it off, then you're.
She just has to blink her eyes and go, "Will you do this for me?"
Oh, I wish it was that easy. I wish.
She's a phenomenal director, but and so she just has to direct, except for she shoots and edits and does. She edited Children of the Wind too. Yeah.
Along with we had to help, but I was the final editor.
Well, we were on a shoot. She went to FedEx, and we were after deadline, and she got the package out by blinking her eyes. Definitely.
That's what we tell
Batting
people.
her eyes. That's what we tell people.
It was really Michael driving us there in time, but.
No, it was definitely not. But anyway, so Mitch.
Yes.
What do you think of the rest of the stuff you've seen so far here today?
There is so much stuff to see.
I know.
It's quite,
it's amazing.
For those of you who haven't been to NAB, the show floor is monstrous. We're in the Central Hall, and it's like multiple Home Depots slammed together, so you walk your fanny off, and then you realize that there's a South Hall with 2 floors, and then there's the North Hall, but I've never been up to the North Hall. So just getting around is very difficult. So the very first day, you want to go see everything, and you can't possibly get to it all. I've been to the Canon booth, I've been to the Zacuto.
Did Canon make any announcement yet? What was this announcement I was hearing about?
I have to say that I don't know. I was in the Canon booth this morning.
You can't tell us.
No, actually, I wish I could not tell you. I was in the Canon booth this morning and talked to some people.
I'm going to do a little research on this real quick while we're talking.
And I heard nothing from any of them about anything new.
I pushed my guy at Canon real hard. He came back real hard. And I said, I know you're lying to me, but it's okay.
There are no new Canon
What do you
cameras.
think? Do you think they're just trying to build hype, or?
No, I think that there's nothing. I really think that they really have nothing, and they're trying to make people like show up and be excited about them for no reason. Because I really think that they have nothing to showcase.
What they should have is some awesome stuff.
They should. What would you like to see from Canon?
This is going to get me in trouble with Canon, of course. I really think that they have got to push the bleeding edge in terms of the video side, which is, that's what we're here mainly talking about at NAB. With Magic Lantern hacking the different cameras and coming out with zebras and focus assists, and there's a new thing that all of a sudden I can't come up with, a new way of focus, micro focus adjustment. It's called Dot Tune. I just found it the other day. And they built that into Magic Lantern overnight. Yeah. And here we are with Canon going, we got the 5D Mark III came out, and then the next camera comes out, and it's the 6D, and it's kind of a letdown.
Sigma's working on building that into their lenses, believe it or not.
Yeah, the focus?
Yeah, micro focusing. But I don't know that I want to do that, because are my eyes good enough? What do I know about micro focusing?
Right. So I really wish they'd do something really exciting, and the stuff that they've done recently has just been slight enhancements. The T5i came out the other day. What has it got that the T4i doesn't have? It's
Not
like,
much.
and it's really surprised me. And maybe I'll find out more because I'm going to the Canon Tech Dinner tonight. But the Digic 5 processor that's in the 5D Mark III, they announced, and the T5i is where I was going with that, and they announced 2 new power shots, and it has the Digic 6 in it. Okay, so why does a little point and shoot have a better chip? Theoretically, right, Digic 6 is going to be a better chip than the Digic 5. I don't know. But why does a point and shoot have that when the T5i didn't? You got 2 cameras announced on the same day.
Right.
I just don't understand some of these things as a consumer.
I don't either, and I personally think they really dropped the ball. And I personally think that Nikon right now has a better DSLR. Although I love the C300, C100, C500, different beast, different animal. It's not a DSLR.
It's really surprising though, Michael. I like the Nikon cameras, but their booth is empty.
Yeah.
I mean, there were virtually no people in there. It's
unfortunate because they really shoot amazing, but they're an afterthought for people because of what Canon was the first mover and got out of the gate and had something stunning. And then Nikon.
But you know the Nikon was first.
Well, I do know Nikon was first. Nikon was first. That is true.
The D90
they came out with the
first.
D90 with 720p.
Right.
But Canon leapfrogged them by coming out with the first 1920 by 1080.
Right.
And then they did firmware update, and they gave people what they wanted. Then Magic Lantern came out, and so it really spark-plugged this whole thing, or jump-started this whole thing. And Nikon's phenomenal. They're tremendous, but they've been overlooked as they kind of tried to leapfrog because then Blackmagic, the day they come here and show off their D800 and D4, which are tremendous cameras, Blackmagic comes out with that thing. It steals a lot of thunder. The C500, C300 are announced, and I don't think Nikon's ever going to go in that direction. I don't know, but I don't think they're ever going to go in that direction. I think eventually they'll have a 4K camera because it's the next, thing to do, the next step, but I don't think they'll go in that direction. I can't find anything about Canon, by the way. I've got red upgrades for the Scarlett. You can trade in for a full Epic X or a new Scarlett Dragon, and of course a lot on the Blackmagic camera. And of course there's a company that is making PL mounts for your, I don't know why you'd want to do this, for your point of view cameras like GoPro and some of the other brands. I'm not really sure why you'd want a PL mount for that. But
I haven't seen that.
Good luck with that. That's Novo. And Daphne, I know we have a lot of questions to get to, and then some of your
We do have a few questions.
topics. I think Rebecca Celeste from Vancouver is our first question.
Yes.
Yes. I'm glad that she wrote in. What does Rebecca have to say?
We do. Rebecca asks, can anyone join the Society of Camera Operators? How? I shoot small local TV commercials.
Well, so Rebecca was watching, obviously, earlier in the day. She might have missed that part when I joined the Society of Camera Operators right on air, which was pretty cool. Yes, anybody can join who is a camera person or shoots anything as an associate member, and then you can become a full-fledged member by having like an IMDb.
But I believe they said there is an approval process, right? So you apply, you become a member, and then you have to go.
You have to get vetted, yeah. You have to get
have
vetted.
an IMDb credit.
You do have
right?
to have an IMDb credit. I don't know how that's going to happen for me, but
I have one.
We'll have to.
You do?
Yeah, I'm a producer.
Really?
I produced the short that.
But you have does it have to be a camera operating credit? That was my question.
I don't know. That's a great question.
Is it just an IMDb credit?
Let's get them back on.
It's got to be. I believe it's got to be.
I think all these questions can be answered on soc.org. But
I would think that would make sense.
I think that I don't know about the full-fledged, but anybody can join. It is a wonderful organization, and
here's an interest.
Yeah, $75, so it's not bad.
So
then you get vetted. Hopefully, I'll make it.
John from Miami asked, in your mind, what is the best way to stream live video in a single and also in a multi-camera setup?
Well, I think that that's really a great question, and I think that the answer is Teradek. Teradek. The answer is if you're with a single camera and you want to stream to the internet, you would use a Teradek Bond or Bond 2 now, which allows you to take multiple USB modems off of any camera, HDMI or HDSDI, and stream live to Ustream, or you could broadcast to a receiver called the Teradek decoder and put it into a video switcher. Now, if you're doing multi-camera, you could use, coming out of the video switcher, you could use the Bond, you could use a Cube, or you could use the new Video. The video, if you have an Ethernet connection or Wi-Fi or a USB modem, would be tremendous coming out of a video switcher, but so would the Bond. If you're connected to an Ethernet cable, you don't really need the Bond. But if you're in the middle of a field or in the middle of somewhere that doesn't have great Ethernet connection, you put in multiple USB modems and the Bond would be your answer. So I think that overall, the product I would buy, if I had to buy one product that would get everything done, it would be the Bond 2 from Teradek, and you can do that at teradek.com, and that'll stream single camera, multi-camera, whatever you want to do. It's a tremendous product, and it will work with Ethernet, multiple USB modems and Ethernet, and it'll also work with Wi-Fi. So that's probably the overall the best. It's a little pricey if you're not a professional, so you might look at the Video or the Cube by itself. You look like you have a follow-up to that.
No,
Or somebody might on Twitter. That's a good question, though. Mitch, what do you think?
I got no clue. I don't do live streaming off of my stuff. I just record it.
We're going to change that, though. Like I said that last year, but we're really going to change that this year.
Okay.
That's why I put you next to the Ustream guys before. Exactly. We're going to make it happen. All right. Daphne, we got more questions, or is that it?
One more question. Joe from Wyoming, which MXL mic or mic period do you prefer for voiceovers and which for live broadcasting? How do you record your voiceovers?
Mitch, what mic? Let's just start with mics in general, and I'll tell you what MXL mic I use after that. What do you use mics in general?
The only thing I know about is Rode. Okay.
Yeah. Do you like them?
This
is a Rode.
These are Rodes.
I like Rode. Yeah.
Yeah.
Audio is something that I'm just really sort of starting to learn a lot about.
Okay.
I've been doing video for a while for the blog. You start learning quite quickly when something really sounds bad, and so Rode has a whole bunch of different mics, and you start learning that, well, the on-camera mic sucks, and so you need to get an on-camera mic or an external mic, and then if you do that, and then you find out, well, a live mic works better, so you try that, and then start moving up. So I don't have any expert information on mic X versus mic Y sounds better.
Yeah. What do you use? What Rode mics do you use?
I have just about all of them. I have actually a Rode Podcaster that I use when I do audio podcasts from my computer. I have the stereo mic, I have the Stereo Video Mic Pro, I have the video mic. I have the new one with the Rycote bouncy thing.
Sure.
I've got an NTG2. I got a lot.
He's like the road man. He's like on the road.
Okay, I don't pay. I did pay for some of those, by the way.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, I did.
I
bought them before.
Well, I have a
knew
couple
anything.
of Rode mics. I think Rode makes good mics. I have a couple of Sennheisers. I think Neumann makes the best mics around that I've ever heard. Neumann mics are just phenomenal. I have their TLM 103. It's a great, desk mic like this. Is great for recording music in the studio. And in addition to that, I have a Neumann boom that's just phenomenal. Picks up great sound. But I'll tell you, those mics aren't really affordable.
Right.
They're not even close to affordable. And I, get very nervous every time I take the boom out because I'm worried that, somebody's going to kick it or drop it. And we did. We had a actress kick it. She was frustrated. She couldn't get her lines. She kicked a very expensive microphone. So I personally really like the MXL mics. I think they sound phenomenal. I think they're very reasonable. If somebody kicks it or drops it, you can replace it without having to worry about it. They have all these new wireless mics now too, and USB mics. I personally, actually, for most of my voiceovers these days, I use an MXL mic because it's a lot easier than getting out the Neumann and dealing with that because I keep it in a case. And it sounds, honestly, it's a ribbon mic and it sounds nearly as good. I mean, it's so you're talking minuscule difference, right? So I use the USB version of the 77 from MXL, and it looks like the old pill microphone, like this, the RCA 77.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm wearing on my cufflinks, and I use that version to do voiceovers, USB, and I record into soundtrack.
Does it kind of get sort of like what we were talking about before with the video, though? I mean, aren't you going a little crazy in terms of getting those really expensive mics, and when you're going to be broadcasting it over the web?
Well, I mean, it doesn't.
But
how we did this, Sprint commercial? How good did that Neumann mic sound when we, for the boom?
It sounded great. I mean, again, it just, it does depend. But now, even with broadcast, people are paying attention to audio, and it does matter. So, you always want to try and get the best quality you can within your price range.
No doubt.
But I think the thing is, it has a richer, fuller sound, and when it gets compressed, it doesn't sound as tinny. And so MXL has figured out a way to do this for a lot less money, but I think that audio has become really important. And, and I was saying earlier in the day, people will, if you have bad audio, people will walk away and stop watching. If you have bad video, they'll hang in there. So it's almost more important than the video to have good audio. And yes, at some point you're chasing the law of diminishing returns, but you're not chasing, to a certain extent, you have to get there, right? Before you're done.
And it's fascinating that MXL is coming out with those rigs that allow you to attach audio to the iPhone now. Yeah. Because everyone's shooting on their iPhone, and now you can have good audio quality.
Yes,
so
absolutely. So I want to wrap this question up real quick because I want to get to Daphne and what she thought was amazing today. But the reality is, for recording voiceovers, I'd use that. I might even use that for podcasts. For live streaming, I would use lav mics. And it doesn't matter who it is, whether it's MXL or whoever, get a good lav mic, lav people up, and run it through a video mixer to live broadcast. That's the best way. In stadiums, you're going to use headset mics, all sorts of things like that. And it depends per the situation. I think I look at every microphone per situation, not just an overall thing. If you had to get one mic, I would go with, an analog mic because it's the most flexible. USB kind of inhibits you a little bit. So, great questions from Rebecca Celeste from Vancouver, John from Miami, and I forgot the last person, but I thought they all did great. I like Rebecca's the best, I think. What did you?
If you were voting?
I think so. Well, it's the first question to ever come in. So, and just to remind people, they can tweet in questions at artismedia.com.
Yeah, at artismedia on Twitter. And
then,
at
artismedia, right. And then Michael at artismedia.com for email. Mike at artismedia.com. Mike, okay.
I keep messing it up
Is
too.
Is that MIC or MIKE?
Oh, MIC would have been good. It's MIKE at artismedia.com. All right, so what did you think was amazing today, Daphne?
For me, Michael, I love the FreeFly system.
Yeah, the Movi.
The Movi. That was unbelievable. I mean,
15K though. 15. Do you think it's too much money?
Yes.
Well, that is an issue, but I mean, it's
how about weight?
It was so
heavy.
Light to me. Just looking at the construction.
She said it's so light as I'm saying. How about heavy?
No,
well, it was light, but if you're holding it like all day.
Hold it for an hour.
Yeah.
Hold that
right, but compared
not, I
to, I mean, you know, it's interesting because it's not your normal Steadicams. They're attached.
I can't wear them. They make me nauseous.
But this is interesting because you have the mobility
like
and
it.
it's not attached to your body. I mean, when we were shooting with the full Steadicam rigs, our operator couldn't hold it, you know, for much longer than a half hour or so. So this, it is sort of heavy, but I mean, it gives you that mobility to move around, and you're not attached to the strapped in. So
I think it's phenomenal. It's certainly an innovative product. The price is a little high. I know they'll get knocked off and then they'll come down in price. So next year, come back to NAB and buy a knockoff. No, they'll get. I'm kidding. Buy the real thing. Don't buy a knockoff. I hate that. But they will. They will come down in price. I also think it's phenomenal. It's very innovative, and I really like it. It is very usable, and it is pretty lightweight. So I think it's cool.
Great for DSLR.
Anything else quickly?
The pivot head glasses are pretty
awesome,
phenomenal, just because you can't see the camera there, so it allows you to.
I got you too. You didn't even know I was shooting.
I did not even know you were filming.
This is the Planet 5D recap show on Teradek, on Ustream, on planet5d.com. For Mitch and Daphne, I'm Michael Artsis. Thanks for joining us live from Las Vegas, Nevada, the Las Vegas Convention Center. They're turning off the lights. That means we got to go. Thanks for watching.